The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life, is a quote from Tony Robbins. You and only you have the power to design your life and business. And by asking yourself the right questions and asking them in the right way, you choose how you perceive life and how life perceives you. So how do you ask yourself the right questions? Start by focusing on your primary question. That is the one question that's often on your mind before you go to bed every night and the first thing in the morning. It's the question that pops up again and again throughout your day without you consciously thinking about it. If something goes wrong, it pops up. If something goes right, there it is again. If your primary question is not empowering you, you can change it. You can find a new empowering question and start to ask yourself that question every day. I actually like my primary question, and I think it's one of the reasons who I am today. So my primary question is, how can this be better? I'm always looking for ways to improve not only my life and business, but also many other things in the world. When I see something I wish to improve, I ask myself, what can I do about it? If there is something I can do about it, then I take action. If not, I let it go. Although my primary question has served me well, and I wouldn't be where I am today without it, it is also somewhat of a double-edged sword. Constantly seeking things to improve can become tiring. I'll admit that. But in my eyes, it is really who I am. Knowing that I have a primary question that both challenges me and drives my growth is a big positive for me. The second question I ask myself is, what can I be grateful for? Starting and ending your day with gratitude works wonders. According to a recent study, a one-time act of gratitude produces an immediate 10% more happiness, and it reduces symptoms of depression by 35%. Asking yourself what you're grateful for counts as a one-time act. So by asking yourself this question every day, you actually increase your happiness. How cool is that? The third question I ask myself is, why not me? This is a great question to ask yourself when you have big dreams, but doubt you can make them happen. In 2016, I saw my dream penthouse for the first time. I drove past it daily and I thought to myself, wow, it would be so nice to live in an apartment like that. Unfortunately, my lizard brain told me to look away because a lifestyle like that belongs to other people. Instead of coming from a place of abundance and gratitude, my scarcity mindset was holding me back until I asked myself, why not me? Turns out that was the right question to ask because today I'm the owner of that penthouse. The fourth question I ask myself, what if? If you're hesitating to take action, that is a good place to get things going. In 2003, asking myself this question compelled me to make a phone call that changed my life. The company I was working for got suddenly sold, and I got this crazy idea that I could become the next CEO. I didn't have the experience, but I felt in my gut that I could do this job. And I just asked myself, what if? What if? And I became the CEO of the company. The importance of asking yourself, what if, doesn't depend on whether you actually accomplish the goal you've set out to achieve or not. The power is in asking the question itself and putting yourself out there to actually be able to get what you want. For that, I need to make a phone call. If I hadn't made that phone call, I would never have become a CEO. The fifth question I ask myself is, how can I make this happen? If you've been telling yourself you don't have the time, you don't have the money, you don't have the skills to do something, then this is a question for you. This question comes to my mind when I think of people who hold themselves back on investing in themselves. They make excuses rather than prioritizing what they want to do. If you're one of those people, then this question will help you stop making excuses. Ask yourself, how can you make it happen versus I can't, is a truly empowering question that you can ask yourself to make progress in your life and business. And the sixth question I ask myself, what's the story I want to share? You can create the story of your future. How do you do that? By imagining yourself in the future and looking back and writing that future and sharing that future and publicly communicating that story. By doing this, you're manifesting your story. It's like a vision exercise that goes into your subconscious mind, and publicly sharing your story also helps you commit to actually doing it. I have announced many things over the years as an entrepreneur, and although not all of them have come true, the process of sharing and actually announcing what I want to do, what I plan to achieve, has helped me take the commitment seriously and making a lot more things come true than if I wouldn't have done it. Actually, in February 2017, I sent out an email to my email list that this would be the year that I would make $1 million in revenue. By August, I was only 1/3 there, but because I had publicly committed, I did everything in my power to make it happen. And on December 31st, 2017, I achieved $1 million in revenue, literally on the very last day. The seventh question I asked myself, what's most important right now? This is a great question to ask when you feel overwhelmed. My sister asked me this question one morning in 2003 when I entered the office where we both worked. That morning, my boyfriend of 8 years had broken up with me. He had apparently been cheating on me for half of our relationship, and I had arrived at work to face my sister in a fog-like state. I literally couldn't understand what I was doing there. And her words helped me get the clarity I needed that day. What do I absolutely need to focus on today? What can I delegate? What can I do later? And that fog that I had in my brain lifted. The eighth question I asked myself is, who do I need? I love this question. This is actually one of my recent adds to my list of questions. The question is so powerful. There's been a whole book written about it, Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. Absolutely can recommend it. Instead of asking yourself, how do I do this? You ask yourself, who do I need to get this done? We always go for the how, and we forget that there's actually someone out there that already knows how to do it, and we can save us a lot of time, energy, and also money. The ninth question I ask myself, who do I want to be? If you're seeking big changes in your life and business, and then you ask yourself, who do I want to be? You actually can make something happen. Asking myself this question led me to be invited to be a TEDx speaker back in 2015. I had put it on my vision board, and less than a year later, I was asked to speak. I didn't even have to apply. There are many more questions you can ask yourself. Some you want to ask on a daily basis. Others are great for reflection or brainstorming. The key is to ask yourself empowering questions that give you energy and help you solve problems. So here are a few more examples for you. How can this feel lighter? How can this be easier? Who can help me get there? How can I work less but earn more? How can I create business with ease? Who has already achieved what I want to achieve? And what can I learn from them? In this video, I've shared with you some of my favorite empowering questions, and I'm curious, which questions are you going to ask yourself? I hope this video has been helpful for you, and if so, I would love for you to subscribe and, of course, share this video with someone.